It's an interesting thing. I think General Eisenhower retired there, and they also have a thing there called Land of the Little Horses. It's all a bunch of little Shetland ponies skipping around. It's real. I'm not making that up. They really have that.
Does it have a cult following?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm a little hoarse. They have, but
you're not stable.
Oh, hey.
Kensil Culture, puppets, props, puns, podcasts.
Matt is always right on the money. I love it. It's so contemporary, even though it's old.
It truly is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to a session of Kensil Culture, the pop culture magazine. I'm here with John Kensil, the namesake. I'm the legendary wit. I'm sort of a sidekick, and we're about to talk about
history. Boring.
Boring history?
Yeah, boring history. People out there, Pennsylvania has known for one of the biggest battles of the Civil War called Gettysburg.
Okay, and in Italy, it's called Gettysburg.
And I have a friend that's a Civil War reenactor. And last week...
Let me guess his name.
I can't say his name. I might get scared.
Oh, okay.
All right. But last week in early July was the 1865, I guess, was the battle. So
I think it was 1863
or something.
So
it was like the 163rd anniversary or 162nd anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, which is a very brutal.
In early July.
It was a very brutal war. People died, like 600,000 people died in like 3 or 4 days of battle. Brutally brutal, horrible men. People from the same country killing each other. It all started because they were delivering pizzas without paying for them.
No, it wasn't. It was started because of shoes. That's what I hear.
He hates that. He found out that's not true, and he goes. I hate hearing that.
Good. I love myth busting.
There was a rumor going around that the reason the South came to Gettysburg before they're going to go to like Washington, Philadelphia, and New York, there was a shoe factory there. But here was just flip flops and Crocs. But he didn't go. That's not the true. Someone just said that's never true. Well, he went there with his daughter for a tour, and it is kind of neat if you're into that stuff. What it is though, he wants the Class A tour, and what it is, you pull up and a tour guide comes out and he'll drive your car around and show you things. So he goes, I'm sitting in a row of cars, and he's always like handsome, young, vibrant history lovers come out. He goes. This old guy comes out with a walker and says, "Are you Al Harris?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh." So my friend Al had to get out of his car and put his walker in the back trunk of his car, and he drove around. And every site where pickets charged or famous battles, he had to stop the car, go in the back, get the guy's walker, and the guy got his car and goes, "Over there, that's where General Longstreet teabagged Sherlock Holmes, and over there is where Frankenstein fought the Wolfman." Right?
Sherlock Holmes wasn't in the Civil War.
Whatever. These guys don't know anything. And he also had to. He also, my friend Al goes, "Can we go over there? That's a famous bloody spot where people died." He goes, "I can't go over there." And he said, "Why not, sir?" He goes, "Because I had to lean against a tree because the guy couldn't stand up." So he loves history. And it's very important. It is very interesting. You find people.
Oh, sure. I saw the movie
Gettysburg. Very neat. Know what he hated the most about that?
The bad beards.
The bad beards are like glue-on ones.
How did I know that?
Yeah, right. And I know it's really weird too. When they go, "Hey, we're shooting a movie about Gettysburg," right? I'm sure they contact you 6 to 8 months beforehand. You could stop shaving and grow a little bit of a beard. But anyway, so he stayed at a bed and breakfast. All right.
Okay.
With his daughter
in Gettysburg.
And where they have it's an interesting thing. I think General Eisenhower retired there, and they also have a thing there called Land of the Little Horses. It's all a bunch of little Shetland ponies skipping around. It's real. I'm not making that up. They really have that.
Does it have a cult following?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm a little hoarse. They have, but
You're not stable.
oh, hey. Right. So he stayed at a bed and breakfast. There's an old Victorian house with like a annex on the back of it.
All right.
So he checks in with his daughter to the right, and the owner of the bed and breakfast says, "Whatever you do, don't go through that door there. Whatever you do, don't go in that door." So what do you think Al does?
Al, of course, is an
Right.
explorer.
And-
He
and-
will go through that door.
Yeah, and it sounds like the opening of a horror movie or a Scooby-Doo show. So he goes, I'm Al. I can vape wherever I want. I love vaping. Vape, 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 vape. So he opens the door up, and there's a stairwell in there, and he goes up to another room, a landing, and he starts vaping away because he can't stop vaping. He vapes like a racehorse.
Yeah.
Vape, vape, vape. Next thing you know, the talking smoke alarm goes off. Smoke detected. Smoke detected.
Oh, man. That's
Smoke detected.
embarrassing.
Right. Well, he defecates in his pants. He was so scared. Oh, anyway, and he didn't really do that, but he was so excited and
Could you
scared.
make the sound of the alarm again?
Oh,
That's what happened when my mother cooked.
right. Yeah,
there.
right. That's how Irish women cook. How you know it's done? When the smoke alarms goes off or the fire department knocks on the front door. So he's scared, and it's one of those ones that yell at you, smoke detected, smoke detected. And he's like, oh my God, the king who owns this house, this bed and breakfast, do something to me. So he gets a chair, a rocking chair, and stands on it and starts pushing the buttons and trying to take the battery out of the thing.
No.
Well, he falls over backwards and bangs his head on the floor. But that's his history adventures. Every time we go there, some adventure happens. It's always a funny story with him.
That's his pal.
But we love stuff like that, like history, or some people love antiques.
We didn't we play the University of
Yeah.
Gettysburg?
Yes.
We played Gettysburg.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because the cafeteria was called the Bullet Hole.
Oh.
Okay.
It's funny. They're supposed to, he told me a story that one of the guys were taking for a tour in a car.
Right.
He said, one time we had a guy here and he drove out there late at night. And next thing you know, he opened his eyes and he's right in the middle of the battle. Like he traveled through time. And the next morning they found the guy, his hair turned white and he bent the steering wheel because he was so scared from what he saw. Like, what'd you hear this lie at? Right. But there's stories there.
But and a big story, when we were there, they showed us this building that used to be the hospital.
Yes, I've seen that.
Okay. And at one time, there a doctor or a nurse or somebody were in this is in modern times, that they were in a elevator and they went down and there it was, an Civil War operating
Yes.
with limbs all over because they didn't mess around. They cut your leg off if you had a bullet in it, or your arm off. They didn't have the
field
advanced
surgery
science we have.
That's really interesting because people say if they ever had a time machine, they go back in time and they'd kill a baby Bob Denver. But
no, they'd kill Hitler.
Oh, Hitler, right? But there's one thing that you go back in time. All these people had to do, these fields, is tell them wash your medical tools like with alcohol, because almost everybody died from dirty needles and dirty soil and stuff like that. And
even the president died. Garfield died of that.
Okay? Yeah, and it's such a simple thing. Just wash your hands and wash everything. And
John, you don't use soap or deodorant. Why should you be concerned about that?
That's a commie plot, this deodorant stuff, right? But
Lenin's grave is a communist plot.
There you go. But there's a famous story that's supposedly true, where some field surgeon was trying to get their world's record for fastest amputation of a leg.
Okay.
And it's kind of gross what they do. Say they don't, right? He'll get a knife and cut all the meat around your thigh, pull the muscle back and the veins back, and then get a saw and saw your bone off. Then he ties all the veins off and the muscles and sews you up. Well, it's a famous story where the guy wanted to get it done. Maybe it wasn't really going for the world's record, but just trying to do a fast amputation.
Yeah.
He got the big sharp knife and he cut off 3 of the fingers of the guy holding the assistant holding his leg there. And then they became morphine addicts and stuff like that. There's a lot of dark stories there, but the biggest lie I've ever heard about Gettysburg was This soldier got shot in the Johnson,
Okay.
and the lead musket ball continued going and hit a lady in her vagina, and she got pregnant.
Now, that son of a gun.
Yeah, he was a man of high caliber.
No, I heard that rumor too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but I don't believe, he was probably getting some Civil War gnocchi at the Italian restaurant. But it's interesting too. There's another story. I think it's called like not Molly Pitcher, Molly, there's a name like that. She was a girl who was cooking like food in a house, and a bullet went through the window and killed her. And he told me one time too, because people who do that reenacting, they're really into it. You can't do a reenacting of a Civil War battle on the real field. It's just like sacred ground. But sometimes you're in that area. If you find like a lead ball in the ground, you're supposed to turn it in. My friend was looking at a tree. He found a lead ball embedded in a tree, and he got a knife and pulled it out. And it's just a piece of lead. Where he's looking at, and one of his friends came over like a tattletale in 3rd grade. You got to turn that in. You can't keep that. You can't keep that. He's like, all right, big deal. It's a squash piece. It looks like a piece of gray bubble gum.
A Confederate Karen.
Yes, exactly what it was. But it's just an interesting thing to do in Pennsylvania.
And Philadelphia had the most debarking of Union soldiers, okay, because the boats would leave from the docks of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So there were thousands. They would come from all over the East Coast and up north, and they would all meet not in New York, but Philadelphia.
And that's where the Leonardo DiCaprio movie with Daniel Day-Lewis, Gangs of New York, they had riots in the late 1850s and early 1860s where
they had draft riots because for $300 a person could get out of his service to the Union Army.
Yeah.
So they the lower Irish immigrants at the time revolted against this, and there were big riots for like 4 or 5 days where they burned down orphanages.
Yeah, it was crazy, real violent.
Really violent, and a lot of brickbats. Yeah. That's where that there's a lot of bricks being thrown at people. And
I might be wrong on the location. I think it's Fredericksburg, Maryland. There's a really interesting story about Irish miners from Pennsylvania.
Oh, they're very young.
Yeah. Yes. They were, well, not that. No, they're like coal miners. And there's a really neat story in this battle in Fredericksburg. It was like a stalemate. They got some Pennsylvania miners, all Irish, to dig a tunnel underneath the southern encampment where the southern guys were at, and they loaded up with dynamite. Never been done before. It's like a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner story. They buried it and they blew it up, and it was a giant explosion. You can go visit this field. It's a big giant crater.
I was at it. It's in Virginia.
And what happened with it was both sides were stunned. They had no idea. They never saw it before. They said it really wasn't. They really didn't do anything. There's bodies laying all over. People have lost their hearing. The explosion was so awful. I
heard that they charged after the explosion. There was a big hole, and they charged through the hole, and the Confederates would just shoot down on them. Yeah. And so their plan, I mean,
it wasn't successful. It sounds
looked good on paper, but in reality, they lost a lot of people.
So you losers out there, if you want to do something interesting, go to Gettysburg and check it out. And that's been this little episode
of Kensil Culture. And push the subscribe button
and share it.
And that's this has been a scream. Yeah.